What innocent question that someone asked you, crushed you a little. When will we dig up Dad? Asked by my almost 5-year son. He's never met him as Dad died 3 months before birth. This goes along the question, when will Dad stop being dead? A friend looked at me and said, I know we've talked about it before, but how did you break your nose? I've never broken my nose, this is just how it looks. Mom asked me, who are you? When I visited her recently. She has dementia. Not a question, but my 8-year-old niece once remarked, you don't laugh anymore. Edit, this was over a year ago when I was having a rough time, but I'm doing much better now. Thank you all for your support and for sharing your stories. I wish you all the best. Thanks again for the gold, kind strangers 20. I worked in retail when I was younger and people would always be like, oh, do you have any ideas for Father's Day? What would you get your dad? My dad committed suicide when I was 16. They had no way of knowing that, but damn if it didn't hurt. When me and my dad and my sister were driving to another town to get away from my mom so we could eat without getting yelled at / stuff thrown at us, my sister asked why mommy was so mean, and my dad had to simplify to her level that her mom was an alcoholic. She was 6. Edit, oh shit, this blew up THX I guess. Rough night last night? Usually asked with a big smile. I was asked that all the time when I was younger because I had a really obvious tremor. Thing is, I did not drink or do drugs at all and I had no idea what was wrong with me. I was eventually diagnosed with Graves' disease and treated for it, but I still have a bit of a tremor. Co-worker innocently asked, who does the cooking at your house? I had very recently separated from my wife and was living alone. I went to get a haircut for my fiance's funeral. It was Friday. He had died on Tuesday. My stylist, all bubbly, said, it's been a while. The last time I saw you, you were just about to move in with your boyfriend. How's it going? The words stuck and I kind of rasped it out. Honestly though, her reaction was so wonderful. She was behind me, and just put her hands firmly on my shoulders and looked me in the eyes in the mirror. No shock, no stupid platitudes, just silent, genuine empathy. The rest of the haircut was pretty quiet, but she did everything so lovingly, and didn't make a big deal out of it when I cried a little. How are you handling everything? My notary public, who also happens to be my boss's boss while notarizing my divorce paperwork. Completing a divorce packet with no help from an attorney can be a real pain in the ass, but at least it kept me focused on the bureaucratic bullshit nonsense part of it rather than the fact that my 9-year marriage was ending. Turned out that as soon as someone asked me sincerely how I was doing, the answer was not at all well. I went back to my desk and had a panic attack. Why don't you ever go out? Well, because I don't have anyone to go out with. Damn. How's your brother doing? Haven't seen him in a little while. He passed away 2 years ago. That wasn't very fun. Edit, I appreciate everybody reaching out to me. It means a lot. Edit 2, I'll add to my story further by saying a close second place would be, why wasn't your dad at your brother's funeral? Life sucks sometimes. My 5-year-old cousin asked me where Grandpa was when we were getting ready to head to his funeral. Everyone went silent and we just kind of stared at each other until my dad managed to distract her. It was brutal. Edit, based off of some of the comments here, I feel like I should elaborate on this. This was the first family death I've experienced, so I barely knew what to say to older children, much less a 5-year-old. We didn't want to tell her anything because we didn't know what her parents told her, so we felt like it was best to change the subject. That being said, watching children react to seeing the body at a funeral is probably one of the worst feelings I've ever experienced. What's on her face, Mom? Little girl. I used to be a cashier and had terrible acne at the time. I had no friends in summer school and a girl asked me if I had any friends. Like straight up, do you have any friends? Then became friends with me, but still. When are you due? I wasn't pregnant. Have since lost over 60 pounds though. Specialist appointment and they did the normal thing of checking contact details. They asked if the contact number and details for my wife were still correct. I started crying. My wife passed away this time 12 months ago. Surprising how much one simple question asked in total innocence can bring you to your knees. I always wanted to study psychology in college, but my overbearing mother wouldn't have that, so I studied chemistry. In my last semester I took an abnormal psychology class just for fun and I crushed it, ending with a 99% average. After the final, my professor took me outside the classroom and said, "Why didn't you major in psychology? You would have made a great psychologist." That really crushed my soul. I think about that day a lot. What do you see when you look in the mirror each morning? My friend was having some body issues and she asked me this question since I was one of the most confident people she knew. She learned maybe a bit too much that day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.